Hey guys, welcome to the second part. I've got a two-part video series just on the installation of a Brondell EcoSeat S101 non-electric bidet toilet seat. So in the first video, I removed the original toilet seat and then showed how to install the new bidet toilet seat and the process behind that. So if you want to check that out, the link is below. In this video though, I'm going to take out an existing bidet that failed and parts broke on it, and I'm really not happy with it. But I'm going to show how to take that out and install. Since that video has the full instructions and detail on how to install the new bidet, I'm not going to go into quite the detail in this video. This is more about removing the old one, showing what's wrong with it. And also I'm going to share some of the things I discovered since having the new one installed in our other bathroom. So once again, here's the new Brondell EcoSeat S101 non-electric bidet toilet seat. Here's what it looks like on the box from Amazon. Again, I really like how they've packaged it all. You've got nice Ziploc with everything in it, including the instructions, which I've already taken out. So I'm going to lay out all the parts, make sure we have everything. So once again, we got all the parts here. Everything checks out. I always want to make sure I have all my parts. Of course, they list them in the instructions here. Just double check. Before I remove the old toilet seat and bidet, I want to make sure I had everything. I don't want to pull it all off and then realize I don't have the right parts. So I always do that first. And then here's some of the tools you may want to use. I got electric screwdriver, regular flathead screwdriver, and pliers. So one thing I want to point out that I noticed after installing the new one in the other bathroom, I just wanted to share because I was looking at how everything lines up, and the new seat seemed to not quite line up with the bowl, but actually, and then the lip of the lid hangs over. So, but I realized that actually that's very similar to other seat designs. So, so I'm a bit concerned about that because I had to. When I installed the one in the other bathroom, I had it as far as back as I could, and it was just a little off, but actually looking at other toilet seats, it's very similar. So not a big deal. I just thought I'd point that out if that's a concern when you're installing. So I've prepped here. I've got the towels down for the water that's going to drip from the line. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the water line here. And then I will flush the tank out. So I've got that good and tight, so no water's gonna come in after I flush. Just hold it down, keep it down, let all the water drain out, so we're good. A couple jiggles, and we should be fine. So when I take the line off, we'll get a little bit of dripping, but the water line is shut off. Now something I want to point out, this is the T valve that was included in the other bidet that I have, and it's plastic. So I wasn't real thrilled about that, but it, you know, that part's been fine. The worst part, and this is the Neo 120, this Luxe bidet is off of Amazon. A friend of ours gave us this during the pandemic. And it was fine for a while, for about a year, and then what happened was I tried to fix it. I used some metal parts, I tried to use some wires to hold it shut, but you see what happened, the plastic cracked. And this is just plastic that's stressed on metal, turning it on and off. And you can see that, you know, one of the nice things was you do have the different intensities of water. Pressure changes, but over time this just broke. And same with it, and this is just turning it from wash to cleaning, and this broke as well. And this didn't even get as much use, but it still broke. I mean, because you don't necessarily need to wash it every single time, but to clean the nozzle. But this definitely had more use. Anyway, whole thing just very disappointing. I gave a bad review of this. Just felt the quality of this was really poor. I also didn't like that the line stuck out like this. Seems like they could have tucked it back in here instead had it come off of here, and that way it would have been tighter in on the toilet. Never that attractive to begin with. But anyway, so just showing one of the things that happened with another competing bidet. This one's less expensive, but definitely get what you pay for. So here's how this is mounted. This is the original toilet seat on here. And there's the addition of the bidet part there, the brackets and everything. So I'm gonna loosen that all up and take that off in the next step here. All right, so I've loosened the nuts here. Removed the other side already. Took that one out. So I'm gonna pop the seat off here. As you can see, there's some rubber washer in there. Now you see how gross this has gotten, and that's one of the things I really don't like about this either. The new one slides out so you can clean it nicely. This builds up. You'd have to take it apart like I'm doing here to really clean it thoroughly, so I don't want to gross anybody out here, but you can see what happens with this bidet over time. Next, I'm just going to replace the whole T-valve, because I really want to use the new metal one that was included with the new bidet. So I'm going to loosen all this up, take all this off, and replace it with the new metal one. All right, so next step here, I'm going to put the T-valve on here. So I've already wrapped it with the plumber's tape that came with it. Again, I'm thrilled that Brondell included the plumber's tape. It's always nice when they include parts like that maybe people don't have on hand when they're trying to install something like this. And I'm not a plumber. I haven't stated that yet, but I'm not a plumber. I'm just, do a lot of handiwork around the house, things I can do myself that I don't need a professional for. But these are things I've picked up along the way too. One of the important things is how to wrap the plumber's tape around the right direction. You want to go the same direction that you're going to screw it on, so you don't accidentally pull off the tape you just wrapped. Make sure the washer is here. They gave you an extra washer in the set in the parts. But and I noticed here I've got a little bit of dripping. I got the valve completely tight, but this is an historic home, and not everything's perfect. But so I noticed there's a little bit of dripping here, so I want to get this on pretty quickly before this really soaks into the towel here. So I'm gonna install this on the line here first. Actually, this has a pivot on it too. They both have a pivot on here. So actually, I'm going to put this on the toilet first up here and attach to this. This already has plumber's tape on it from the previous one. And I always back it off a little bit to make sure I have a snug fit, that I'm not stripping, especially plastic. And again, you want to get this on firm. And I'm going to turn this the right direction. I'm going to aim this back for the line, because I want the line to come around from the bidet and come back in here. So I've got it aimed back here. I'm going to tighten this with my wrench and actually my pliers. You can use a wrench or pliers, and then I'll attach this line. All right, so I've got the line attached here, and I've got the same back still. I had to hold on to this while I tighten the nut down. Now again, I've got it nice and tight, but not over tightened. Very important, especially with plastic here, plastic around here. This is nice and snug on here, so you shouldn't get any leaking, but you don't want to over tighten, you'll strip it. So this is all set. I'm going to add the line to the bidet itself, and then I'll tighten, and then I'll add the line onto this as well. So that'll be my next step. All right, we're ready for the final steps here. So once again, here's the plate, and you want to have this with the rubber side down, and this is where the seat's going to click in to the track right there. So again, make sure these are on the side of the grooves, the teeth, and those will line up with these teeth here. So these are to lock everything in place, and these are obviously adjustable for your toilet. I want this one as far back as possible. So again, I've got both sides set here. I got the holes lined up pretty much centered there. And again, we can adjust after we get everything in here. So I'm going to drop the bolts in. They line up nicely in there. Bolt on this side as well. And pretty much even there. So then we're going to take the nuts and on the underside here, gonna just carefully tighten them on. Again, back it off first, make sure everything's lined up. All right, so as I showed in the first video, I'll show it again here. This is the part that's going to slide into the track on here. So I've got everything snug for now, and I'm just going to make sure everything lines up. I'm going to slide the seat into place, make sure it's locked in. So it's locked in here. So again, meat lines up great on the bowl here. And we've got that in place, so now I'm going to go ahead and tighten the nuts underneath just to make sure it's good and snug. Again, don't over tighten. Plastic parts easily strip. So I'm going to do that right now. All right, I'm going to take the label off here. Looks good. And now it's time to attach the line on the side, and that'll be our final step. And again, just showing the instructions here. So we obviously want this end, we're going to attach on here. Got the plumber's tape on there already. Again, back it off a little bit and make sure you've got a nice solid start here before you start screwing it on. You don't want to strip anything. So I'm going to get that snug and run the line back where I want it, and then you can attach the other end here. Still have a little bit of dripping from that pressure not having the line be able to totally shut off, but so it's dripping a little bit here. So I want to get this on, get that taken care of. All right, got both lines tightened. Again, not too tight, especially this is going on plastic here. And then the line back here. Now this is metal on metal because the T-valve that I took off the plastic and installed the metal that came with it. So this is all good. I was able to tighten this down. You don't have to worry about over tightening that really. I mean, you don't want to strip it. It is, softer metal, but it'll be fine if you give that a good crank. But you want that a good solid. You want all this nice and tight back here. All right, so we're ready to turn on the water here and make sure we don't have any leaks. Tank should start filling. Just kind of feel around, make sure. Check the attachment here. Everything seems fine, no leaking. I mean, you should start getting some leaking right away because it's high pressure here. So yeah, everything looks good. All right, so we're all set. We're ready to give it a test. Open up the lid. I got the plastic taped on here so we can test it out. So you want to turn it to the rear for the rear sprayer or the front for the front sprayer, depending on which one you want to use. In between will be your cleaning, so it'll be a spray to clean the nozzles, and then each side has the intensity of the water spray. So let's go front first. So that's the cleaning, and then you can back it down. It'll clean the nozzle as you bring it to off. So let's go with the rear one. So it'll do the cleaning. Back it down, cleaning, and then off again. So really nice system. It has a nice feel to it, very solid. Much nicer than the one I just took off. So highly recommend this. I've already used the one in the other bathroom and it works great. So again, really happy with the quality of this. Everything's nice. The plastics are all nice and solid. The installation is pretty easy. And even, take this off here. the fact that they include all the extra things like the plumber's tape, I keep mentioning that, but I really feel like that's a nice added detail that they thought about. I also want to show the, how these are actually very nice closing, slow closing on these. So really happy with this, the quality of the Brondell. All right, well that should do it for the removal of the old bidet and the installation of the new Brondell EcoSeat S101. It's a non-electric bidet toilet seat. So all-in-one toilet seat and bidet, really nice, great quality, highly recommended. So if you didn't catch the other video, check that out because I went into a little more detail on the installation and some of the things that went into putting it in the other bathroom. I hope you enjoyed this and found either one of these videos or both helpful to you. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.